What's the name of your ID?
मेरा WhatsApp link ना उस पे click किया विकास.
नहीं, what's the name of your Zoom ID?
I don't know what's the name of it. I just downloaded the app and signed my Google.
Have you joined in? Can you see me?
No, I can't see you as yet. कहाँ है वीडियो? Because you see me now?
I can't see you because you're.
I can see you.
Yeah, I am on my video deliberately, but I'm saying that where are you? What's the name of your IDs? Abhijit Chogle, Mangesh Chaudhary तो मेरा आदमी है. मनोज सतेंद्रकर.
तो शांति रखिए. मेरा ID, my personal ID is 555. ये meeting ID ना?
नहीं रे बाबा, but you have you joined me as a participant?
I don't know, Baba, because I'm not used to much. Okay, I'm just.
नहीं, who's the guy beside you? Narayan is there, na?
Narayan is there.
Narayan, just Narayan, you're there on the call. Yeah. So see, now I have shared on Mitesh's WhatsApp the webinar ID, that is 878-9036-5949. Just join with this ID. I'll make you the panelist.
अरे वही कर रहा हूँ ना, ये देखिए, ये है ना ID. webinar ID है क्या? तो कैसे कर देगा? Delete this URL ना? ये URL डाला मैं. Open Zoom meetings. That's what I said. That's what I did. I failed to detect my microphone. Now I don't know why the fuck. Abhi, I can see Vikas. Vikas can't see me.
Yeah, Narayan, just join in, no?
क्या join करूँ? मैं join हूँ ना?
Joined हो आप?
हाँ.
आप चैट पे कुछ भेजो. आप चैट, आपका स्क्रीन दिख रहा है? मेरा जूम आईडी का स्क्रीन दिख रहा है? Mitesh,
I can see you. I can see you as an audio video. Okay, I can hear you.
So you've not connected your audio. That means.
Okay, wait. Can you hear me now?
I mean, I can't hear you from the computer. I mean, since you're on the call, I can hear you.
तेरा हेडफोन है क्या? सॉफ्टवेयर आईफोन का. Click on the link which you sent me, okay?
No, don't click on the link. Don't click on the link. You have downloaded the Zoom app, right? You open the Zoom app, and there you'll get 4 options. There you say join meeting. In the join meeting, you write the webinar ID.
Now where do I join meetings? What the fuck is this?
हाँ, join with computer audio करना. अरे join meeting में तू meeting ID आएगा ना. तू एक मिनट शांत रख. नारायण, तू आ ना सामने 1 मिनट. नारायण बस जूम ऐप पे गया तू, उसके अंदर देख 4 ऑप्शन आते हैं, न्यू मीटिंग, ज्वाइन मीटिंग, ऐसा ऑप्शन आता है ना। जूम ऐप पे क्लिक किया क्या?
सेटिंग्स का ऑप्शन ही है,
कोई जरूरत। हेलो नारायण,
एक मिनट 1 सेकंड। हाँ अभी इसमें एडिट करना, जो ज्वाइन ऑडियो वाले मैंने किया है वो है। हेलो
कर आ गया, तू आ गया अभी।
थैंक यू फाइनली।
मैं देखो पैनलिस्ट बना रहा है, ठीक है। आ गया नाउ यू जॉइंड एज अ पैनलिस्ट। Okay, now you can share the screen of your, see there's an option called sharing the screen. Mitesh, you can unmute yourself. अरे तुम और
कहाँ से अभी आ रहा है आवाज?
नहीं, तू तेरा अनम्यूट करेगा तो आवाज आएगा ना, तू म्यूटेड है।
हेलो
हाँ,
आवाज आ रहा है?
नहीं म्यूट म्यूट बटन निकाल ना, म्यूट और वीडियो चालू कर।
कनेक्शन तो है, बता दो ना। और क्या?
ये देखो लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे नीचे वीडियो और म्यूट का बटन है, उसको अनम्यूट करो।
विकास मैं किया उसको। Now, this speaker, right?
हाँ बोल।
I'll give you the thumbnail, give me one just whatever you want.
Wait, I'll take you on AnyDesk.
I have.
Give me your AnyDesk ID. 329 009
009
Mangesh, Mangesh,
Yes, hello.
yes, can you unmute yourself?
Hello.
Mangesh, Mitesh is
Yes.
not able to log in properly. Can you help me?
क्या इशू हो रहा है उसका?
उनको ऑडियो और कुछ समझ, उनको ऑडियो और ये वीडियो नहीं दिखने को आ रहा है। मैं तेरे को उनका नंबर देता हूँ, जरा उनसे बात करना।
हाँ,
रुक। को मैं नंबर व्हाट्सएप किया हूँ।
ठीक है, मैं कॉल करता
मितेश, मेरा आदमी तेरे को फोन करता है, रुक। ये कुछ ईमेल नहीं आ रहा है मेरे को एनी लिस्ट में। तू अनम्यूट भी नहीं कर पा रहा है अपने आप को मितेश। तो वापस से डिस्कनेक्ट करके वापस से लॉगिन करना, लॉगिन विद कंप्यूटर ऑडियो अगेन। Yeah, Mitesh, unmute yourself. I made you the co-host. I made you the co-host. Can you unmute yourself? Mangesh, just try to reach out to Mitesh. I'm not able to help him. Yeah, Mitesh, I can see you. I can see you, but I cannot hear you. मैं मीटिंग में हूँ, कुछ अर्जेंट है क्या? नहीं, मुझे नहीं कुछ। सर मेरा एक सेमिनार चल रहा है, बाद में बात करता हूँ.
देखो मैं फोन से ट्राई कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है?
Yeah, Nitesh, I just heard you.
He's heard you through this part.
Through which?
Your voice is very faint.
हाँ, but because you are hearing, बंद करना साले. क्यों बंद कर रही यार? तू just sit out यार. मैं
उनकी लैपटॉप में प्रॉब्लम है. लैपटॉप में.
because
Yeah, I can hear you.
but the audio is coming through my phone. Okay, so I've logged in through my phone as well, and the audio is coming through my phone.
Okay, that's okay. But can you share your screen? Would you be comfortable sharing your screen and all?
See, the share screen मतलब किससे करना होती है? मुझे पता आते नहीं है share screen करना भाई.
See, when you've logged in as a now I've promoted you as a panelist. What do you see on the front? Do you see below options: mute, stop video, participants, share screen option?
I can see the share screen option.
So if you click on that, then your whatever window you have opened in your computer, you can share that screen. So if you want to show any chart or anything, then you must open that chart and then share the screen and click on that session. So if you want, you can do that.
But I was first. I mean, like initially the share
you
screen.
just want to
I
talk,
was just trying
that's
to
fine.
connect and all. So I think the audio is okay with the phone.
It's very faint.
अभी उसका क्या करूं यार बता मैं. एक मिनट.
It's very faint.
Let me try something else. सौम्य जरा बोल दे जरा मेरे को. माइक्रोफोन दे जरा. हाँ, इसमें चलता है नहीं है. इसमें माइक है. वॉल्यूम फुल कर. वो एप्पल में कहाँ कनेक्ट होता है भाई ये? इसमें होल नहीं है. तो होना चाहिए. अच्छा क्या? Audio full है? Vikas?
Yeah.
Now can you hear me? So what I've done is I've connected through Zoom meeting on my phone, on which I'm speaking via headphone, and the video is there on the computer.
The audio,
Hello?
to my mind, okay, I guess.
Hello?
Wait a second, we can ask the audience. Second. The audio is coming very faint, but 1 second. Is the voice.
ठीक है बंद कर दे. I'll use this and I'll give it to you tomorrow. या कल ले लेना.
Okay, Mangesh is saying that Nilima is also confirming that voice is proper. So Mitesh, your voice is good to go.
Okay, Vikas. So before I do that, how do I share screen with my? I mean, I want to share screen. Let's say assuming this one with you. So how do I now? Can you see that share screen?
Yeah, you have started sharing your screen. Yes, but what have you shared? It's just
a normal chart, yeah.
It's coming. It's not
Hello.
yet come.
Sorry.
It's not yet come, dear.
Okay,
It's not
okay.
yet visible, the chart.
So that's okay. See, the idea is that I was anyway not planning to do much of sharing screen. Oh यार ये इसको कैसे करते हैं? Stop
Yeah,
share.
yeah.
चल ठीक है.
Okay.
Okay. Now can you see me properly and can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Wonderful. So if I'm talking to you, is the entire audience able to hear me or is just you?
No, the audience can hear because I've taken the feedback from the audience.
All right. So let me know when you want me to begin. I think what I'll do is for the first 15-20 minutes, I will just introduce this workshop and tell people about exactly what we are going to do for the 2 days if they join. And the last 5-10 minutes, if they have any questions, they can shoot at me and I hope I can hear them as well. Otherwise, you can just communicate from your end to me.
Let's wait for 5 minutes because
Okay.
there are 33 people. We
All
are
right.
expecting some more people to join.
Perfect.
So then after 5 minutes, we'll start. We'll just.
Sounds good, buddy. 1 minute यार, ये सब side है.
This is for the benefit of all the attendees. We are going to start the session in the next 5 minutes as we expect some more people to join in. So kindly bear with us for 5 minutes.
Because my audio is still audible to you, right?
Yeah, it is fine.
Perfect.
So for the benefit of all our attendees, we are a total of 57 people. We'll just wait for another minute before we start. There were a lot of people who registered for this event, so I guess they must be on their way to join. Another minute and we'll start. Okay, so now we are like almost 70 people. So friends, I'll start this promotional session. So I'm joined by Mitesh Thakkar, who I believe is a celebrity and doesn't need much introduction. But for the benefit of everybody, I will talk about Mitesh. He is an expert in market technical analysis is his forte, and he has a lot of decades of market experience. He has worked in our broking industry as well, but now he's an eminent expert on media channels, CNBC, ET now. He's been coming there for many years now, and you must have seen him on television. Plus, he is a trader in his own rights. He trades in the markets and also has trained more than 500 students who've had the privilege to attend his training programs. And today we are honored to have him with us. And we are launching one program called Trading for Living, where Mitesh will basically teach his secrets in our program called Trading for Living. This program that webinar that what we are doing right now is a short promo before that main event, so that you all can understand that what exactly Mitesh will be teaching us, and that's a full-fledged course. And I will talk more after Mitesh is done. So without much delay now, over to you, Mitesh. There may be a mix of people who would understand Hindi and English. So if you can talk in English and then also take care of that in Hindi. So over to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Vikas. Very kind of you to introduce me in this manner. I think देखिए ये जो हम प्रोग्राम कर रहे हैं, मैं हिंदी में बोलता हूँ, अगर किसी को हिंदी नहीं समझ में आ रहा हो तो जस्ट लेट विकास और मंगेश नो, तो मैं फिर उसको इंग्लिश में कन्वर्ट
No, you speak in English as a primary language because many people are from the south. So speak, yeah.
Perfect. So then I'll stick to English and possibly translate it to Hindi. Okay. So this program is a two-day program, is a two-day workshop. Now, what I've learned, and as Vikas was telling all of you, that I have about a few decades of experience in the markets. It's precisely about 21 years now. And since 2008, which is when I left my job as co-head of private client group in Edelweiss, I have been working for myself, coming on first ET Now and then CNBC TV 18, and I also trade for myself. So obviously, somebody who has traded and to a certain extent, I can say successfully traded the market for such a long period of time, I think I have some setups which I use frequently. The idea is to share about 4 or 5 such setups with you in a 2-day program. It's difficult to cover the entire spectrum of the course because technical analysis as a subject is a very vast thing. But the 4 or 5 setups which I will share with you are the ones which I use most commonly. They have a very reasonably high and good accuracy rate, or in case in a couple of cases when the accuracy is slightly lower, you get a compensation in form of very beneficial risk reward equation with you. So just to introduce exactly what kind of subjects we will be covering in the next 2 days. First, we'll start with basic understanding of charts. I have no idea what my audience level of understanding of charts is, so I'll assume that everyone is at some kind of basic level. So we'll start with a quick brush off on the basics of charts. That will be the first session. We will then go into price patterns, understand 4 or 5, in fact, 5 price patterns which occur very, very commonly on charts and which we trade regularly. We will also look at examples during this as we are covering these patterns on the daily chart, on the weekly chart, on the monthly chart, and on the intraday chart. So I'll show you examples of everything and possibly even cover examples where these patterns or these setups have failed. So you as a trader will be in a better position to judge as to what things are happening. Now, what I've spoken till now possibly is something which, you will believe it's a very basic thing. Everybody does that. And to a certain extent, I would agree with that. I think, the first day course content is slightly on the basic side. If you were to Google it out, you will find a good amount of reference data of what I will be teaching you. The only difference being is that, some of these setups I use in a very slightly different manner than what the internet or the Google or the normal books share with you. The day 2 is where I would share, few things which possibly you will not find anywhere in the literature part of technical research, neither on Google nor in the books. So we will begin day 2 with using price gaps as trading setups. And here I would introduce you to a couple of customized indicators which I use to identify which type of gap we are looking to trade, and therefore what kind of risk reward equation we can look into. Which phase of the trend the stock or the market or the index, whichever has given the gap, is in. And then I would use a custom, as I mentioned, I think I would share a couple of customized indicators which you will not find anywhere, and which is what I've developed over a number of years. Again, I think moving on from that, the next session would possibly be on long-term investments as well as some understanding of indicators. Often, people accuse technical analysts or people who trade as a short-term oriented guys. But with my experience, and I've worked with industry bigwigs like Shankar Sharma, etc., in my early days of my career, and where we have even worked on the long-term charts, and we have fine-tuned our indicators to suit the need of people who are actually taking a view which can last for a few months to a few quarters to sometimes a couple of years as well. So that's the kind of thing which we'll delve into. That will also cover a set of indicators which are, again, while not customized, but the parameters are back-tested and therefore customized to that effect. So, we have done a lot of back-testing when we work on any set of indicators. We work with a lot of back-testing and which will suit which kind of setup, etc. kind of numbers are being taken care of. And then we arrive at possibly some of the set which is the best applicable in most of the cases. That's one. And the last session will be more of, I can say, more of giving gyan. It's more about what kind of perspective a trader should have in the market, about his risk management, about his position sizing. And also is the fact that, a lot of people, when they come to me, and you would have heard Vikas say that I've trained about 500 people. The number is actually very less compared to what many of the other people would be training. But the idea is that I prefer to trade or to train or work with people, who don't come with a short-term horizon in the markets, in the sense that they don't treat trading as some kind of an income-generating activity. Yeah, let's make 50,000 lakh rupees and we are happy about it. No, my objective of training is to possibly look into how trading how trading as an activity can be used for wealth generation as an activity which can last for a number of years and give you possibly returns which you can compound and therefore enjoy the benefits in long term. So this is in a nutshell, what we are going to cover. If I was to be slightly more specific about these setups, etc. and all. So on the first day, we will learn about basics of charts, drawing some lines, understanding the concept of breakouts, then working out how to figure out where to put a stop loss level to your breakout trades, what kind of possible targets can you expect. The same theme spills over to the pattern setup part of the lecture, wherein we identify patterns, we identify what level we will be taking an actionable breakout. Many times it happens that you've drawn a pattern and you're waiting for the pattern to break out, and during the day, let's say around 12 o'clock, you see the price moving above the pattern level. Then there comes a dilemma whether you want to buy it right now or whether you want to wait until 3:30, etc. So I'll address all these kind of issues, figure out again a good reasonable way of arriving at a proper stop loss level, see if the stop loss level and then the expected rewards give you a good risk reward equation, and therefore if it's a tradable thing or not. On the day two, as I said, I think going into bit details of the gap session, I would cover breakout gaps, how to identify them, my indicators used to identify these breakout gaps, and what kind of risk reward equations you can look at. To just share a bit of outlook, I've worked with breakout gaps when the risk reward equation has been more than 1:10, and in very lucky cases close to about 1:50 plus as well. So these are the kind of setups which we have learned to identify. Of course, when the setup happens, I'm not very clear as to whether it will be a 1:5 opportunity or 1:10 opportunity. But the concept of trying to trail your stop losses, let your profits run, and see if a profitable trade which has gone from 1 rupee risk to about 10 rupee reward can be extended to 25, 30, 40, 50. So these kind of things I will cover as well. And then coming back to the last setup, as I said, I think the long-term charts, we will use a combination of trend and force indicators, which will be giving you combined signals to understand whether a stock is entering into a long-term uptrend, long-term downtrend, or a sideways kind of an activity, and therefore whether you would want to hold it in your portfolio, or even from a trading point of view. What happens is that typically you would see that stocks which are showing signs of long-term uptrend would be very good stocks to trade for you on the long side. If you are doing a leverage trade or even a short-term trade, buying stocks and looking for a short-term breakout. Let's say there's a breakout happening on the daily chart, and there are two stocks, A and B on that, and A has a positive long-term chart and B has a negative long-term chart. I think typically what happens and what we have seen is that in 85 to 90% of the cases, the one which has the positive long-term chart, the breakout succeeds on the short-term chart as well. Plus, often it is more rewarding compared to the other stock. So it's very important to have the overall perspective in place, and therefore there is a session on the long-term charts as well. Of course, it can be used for making your investment and long-term decisions as well, whether you want to buy and hold a stock. So that in a nutshell, is what we'll try to do. The last part, as I've said, is more of me sharing some gyan and my experiences, as well as some habits on putting or knowing my position sizing and seeing that the trading as an activity contributes to wealth management. If you have any questions, if you have any doubts on whatever I've spoken, you are free to shoot through it.
So let me just, for the benefit of the viewers, just let me take it a bit over here. Team, this entire program is basically giving you an opportunity to understand how the concept of risk position sizing is married to a technical setup which has been back tested and confirmed by somebody like Mitesh, who's been working on these setups for like almost more than 10-20 years. So learning from a guru and understanding that how to basically run a position are two very important concepts which many times people learn after losing a lot of money. So this kind of training that you would get is what we are trying to answer over here. That problem is what we are trying to answer over here. And there are many such patterns in the market. There are thousands of ways to trade, but then you have to basically go with what pattern will offer you the best reward versus the risk. And it's easy to continuously, filter such kind of patterns. So that would be the kind of training which Mitesh would be giving. And now in terms of the course that we had marketed and which we are planning to hold on in the month of February, if you all have any questions or if you want to ask Mitesh any question, including any market view also, subject to Mitesh's compliance requirements, then I'm sure that he'll be happy to oblige. So any questions, team, please put on the chat window and we'll definitely ask. आप लोगों को अगर कोई भी सवाल है तो आप मितेश ठक्कर जी से पूछ सकते हैं कोर्स के बारे में, मार्केट के बारे में, वो जवाब देंगे.
I'm not getting any audio. Is anybody asking something?
No, I'm like looking. No, there's no questions so far. We have 91 people, but so far, so let me just put it on the chat as well. If anyone.
Was everybody able to hear me properly during the entire session, or was there audio issues or audio glitches?
There was some audio this. But, yeah, Mangesh is saying that they could hear you.
Perfect.
Okay, so somebody's asked that if Nifty breaks 20 DMA today, can I go short? That's one of a question that's been posed, Mitesh.
Okay, so I have a very different take on this. I'm not one of the guys who would use the 20-day average. I use a different kind of an average on the index, which is the 21-day exponential average. So not the 20-day simple average. But broadly, I've been saying that if you look at the combination of your daily and weekly charts, if the levels of 14,150 to 14,200 breaks, then I think I would definitely want to take some kind of short positions. This is what view which I've maintained for the last 3 days, 4 days on television as well. Below 14,150, I would expect at least a test of 13,750 as the minimum, possibly even 13,500 to about 13,400 zone can be tested in case there's something negative on the union budget.
Okay, so somebody's asking that how much returns can one expect monthly after the program, and share me the course details. So
I can tell you, sir.
Course details will be uploaded in our site, sir. Yeah. Mitesh, please take the answer.
On the monthly return side, I have no idea. To be very honest, as a trader, I have experienced volatility in monthly returns as well. But what I tell people and what I try to achieve is a 30% plus annualized return. Because if it's less than that, I think you better can give your money to a mutual fund manager who will manage it for you, and a CAGR of around 14, 15, 16% can be generated by him over a period of about 5, 10, 8 years. So I think that's a much easier way of doing it. So if you're doing it yourself, we try to target at least double of that, at least. There have been years when I've made more than that, but that's the minimum which I'm looking at. Again, as I said, I think monthly returns is difficult because a month market can be bad, a month market can have a lot of events, but this is what I expect on an annualized basis. 30% is what I target minimum, and I can tell you, and if I don't know how to share documented evidence, but my last 4 year returns are about 37% CAGR.
Can we detect long-term breakout through charts is a question.
Yes. So on day 2, when I would be covering after the gap session, the second session will have a discussion on identifying and working with long-term opportunities on the charts. So we will be using only monthly and to a certain extent weekly charts, and that can be used to make investment decisions. If you are into a buy and hold kind of thing, I think definitely the second session will be clearly answer all your queries on that.
So one question is, Mitesh, that training is on default or customized indicators?
So some indicators are default, obviously, because not all indicators are customized. But on day 2, when I do the gap setup, it's an indicator which is customized. It's known to me or people who have learned from me or who have shared with me. I think these are the people who will possibly know that indicator. It's not available on Google or any books, etc. But I'll of course share with you. It's very easy. Any package, any charting package which allows you to make or post an indicator on an indicator, which is a study on a study, I think you will be able to do it for yourself as well. I think most of the charting packages have this facility of allowing you to draw one indicator on another one and therefore be able to customize it. So what we have done is that, the idea was to figure out which will be a good indicator to work with, which indicator on that indicator will you plot, and then you backtest it and see which numbers work the best for a given set of data. So it's been this took me about 2.5 years to work it out. But yeah, I think on the day 2, session 1, I think it will be a customized indicator which you will not find in reference books or Google or anywhere, etc.
So Mitesh, another stock ITC. Somebody's asking that what's your views on ITC and which leading indicators are primarily being used in the course, which you'll be using in the training course.
So I'll answer the training course first. Okay. We would be using a combination of a couple of moving averages, which is your exponential moving averages. I have backtested and I've realized that compared to simple or weighted, the exponential ones work better. We will use MACD, we will use RSI, and to a certain extent ADX. That's about it. I think after a number of years, what I've realized is that putting more indicators is not helpful to me. It kind of confuses the mind. But understanding your indicators and trusting them and working with them regularly, even if they are limited set of indicators, as long as the signals are good and backtested, I think that's how we plan it out. Coming to view on ITC, in fact, the last 2 months I've started turning extremely positive on ITC. I think now it's clearly showing signs of bottoming out. What I want is that on any month, I'm working on the long-term charts now, on any month the stock should remain and close above these levels of 210, 12. I think it's trading very close to that. And the minimum I would expect is 245, but logical targets is close to about 260 to about 270. So in less than a year, I would expect logically about 50 to 60 point return, which is roughly about 25-30% kind of return.
Some people are asking questions on, there are 3 stocks: Bandhan Bank, IDFC First Bank, ITD Cements.
Yeah. Okay, so ITD Cementation, sir, apologies, I don't track the stock. I'll have to skip that, at least for now. I'll have to work on that chart for some time before I can come with a definite answer on that. The other one is Bandhan Bank and?
IDFC First and Bandhan Bank.
Okay. Extremely positive on IDFC First Bank. I've been tracking the stock for long. The only thing is that this month itself, which is January, is 30% up. So the long-term charts are extremely good. I've been looking at targets of 55 ever since the stock was around 32, 33 levels. I think now we are close to that. Beyond 55, 65, 70 is what I'm looking at. But this is a very good stock if you were to get it on a mild decline, because the stock has run up by about 30%, and that is after the stock has cooled off by 8% this month. It's still up 30% for the month. So the logical way I'll approach the stock is to possibly look to buy into this range of 44 to 43. Keep a stop below 40. I think 55 should not only be revisited very soon, but then eventually even crossed, and 65, 70 range could be tested. So even on a long-term basis, sometimes we use stop losses. So I would try to buy it close to about 45, 44, 43 zones in case I get it. And as I said, stop loss below 40 and 65 should be a logical target over there. Bandhan Bank, the short to medium-term trend has turned negative over here, but the long-term charts will improve with one more fall. So I think again it will hit accumulation zone around 270 levels. I think the last bottom on September 20 was around this 270, 275 mark. That's the level I would want to see. If some kind of reversal is taking place, I would want to go long. But for the timing, the charts are negative, so I'll avoid it.
Tata Motors.
Tata Motors, sir, I've been on television voraciously telling about that 300 is the price target. Again, I think it's hit those levels. The chart isn't bad. But if you were to look at the historical long-term charts of Tata Motors, allow me a second to put on the chart. Yeah. The stock made 2 monthly closing lows, which was September of 2015 and February of 2016. February 2016, the closing was 299.70 and September 15 was 298.60. So this level of 300, which is where historical monthly pivots are located, will be a very difficult level for the stock to cross, especially given the fact that we have seen a mad-like rally in the last 3 months from 130 levels to now 300 levels. I would say if you have the stock and if you're a trader with a 6-8 months kind of horizon, book out around 300. You will get a significant dip. I would want to buy it again closer to about levels of 220 to about 235.
Okay, so there's somebody asking that Bank Nifty couldn't sustain previous high of 32,650. Can we consider Bank Nifty is weakest more than Nifty, as Nifty made 2,000 points higher than previous high?
Yeah, that's a very normal way of looking at things. The Bank Nifty actually made a high of 32,800, but a closing high of 32,500. So it could not clear the previous high.
technically in that sense. So yes, Bank Nifty is an underperformer. I would agree. And in the short term, in fact, if it starts closing below 31,000, I would look at more decline over here, and 29,400 is the first minimum target which I think the Bank Nifty should do. So I would be negative. In fact, the closing did not happen today. It just closed at about 31,198. So we are just about 200 points off. But in case we get a closing tomorrow or day after below that, we will even try to do some put options trade over there. By the at-the-money put options for February expiry, and I would expect 29,500 over there.
Okay, so you're saying Bank Nifty is not that negative, right?
Oh, it is negative, but I would look at the first target of around 29,500 on the Bank Nifty because it's not clearly high. So I'm saying if it breaks 31,000, we have just closed about that pivot level of 31,000, about 200 points. Below that, I would go and buy put options and look for a 1,500 point kind of a decline.
Okay, somebody's asking that what will be the after course support that what you will provide?
So after course support, I think, is something which will be very important for me, because I also understand when I throw about 4 or 5 setups at you in a matter of 2 days, which is less than about 15, 16 hours, what happens is that sometimes you are left confused. Any queries you have, what we will do is that we will identify 2 designated weekends for the next 3 months, and we'll take your queries and answer them on a one-to-one basis.
So I hope that answers that question. Now, Mitesh, there are a lot of people asking a lot of stock views. So should I keep asking you? I mean, can I ask you?
Yeah, I mean, unless until it's a cash stock which I don't track, I typically track.
So first, let me ask you. Somebody's asked about Reliance and Larsen and Toubro.
Okay, a disclaimer here. Reliance, I have positions, and I have had positions for last 5 days. We bought at about 5-6 days, 1950 odd levels, and what I had was a covered call position. So I bought futures and sold call options, and the stock is back to those levels after a good run up. See, again, Reliance, my understanding is that the 200 average for the stock is hitting up now. It's very close. It's at about levels of 1900. So I'm not looking at a big decline over here. The idea was to have positions in Reliance wherein, the 1900 levels are hold. So you bought the stock in 1950 and you're hoping that the call option premiums will eventually evaporate as the January expiry approaches. And now we only have two trading sessions left for that. But if it breaks 1900, then I would turn slightly negative and look for a bigger decline. Though my view is that it might not do that. And below 1900, I think, I'm looking at least 100 point kind of decline.
So below 1900, you are saying that it's more down.
Okay. There's something on Vikas. I can read a question which is on candlestick and point and figure charts.
Yeah.
So I want to answer that. I use only.
Please. Yeah.
I use only candlestick charts. I am not an expert in point and figure charting. In fact, my theoretical knowledge of the subject is also slightly on the weaker side. So point and figure is something which I don't use. So I cannot teach or share about it. But what I teach and share is what I use regularly. Yeah.
L&T, what about L&T?
Yeah. So again, as I said, the entire market is now on a situation when if we break 14,150 out, turn slightly negative. A similar setup can happen on L&T. The last rally we got from 950 is looking like maturing around these levels. I would look at possibly a mild decline. L&T is an outperformance zone, so mild decline to about levels of 1300 to about 1290. In case the stock breaks below that, then I'll look at more declines. But as of now, I'm not sure of that. So for the timing, I'll keep that as the target. Below that, I think a level of 1235, 1245 can be tested.
Will Yes Bank recover about 25 in the first half of 2021? Is a question.
No idea. I've not tracked Yes Bank for ages now. Sorry for that.
What about the view of National Aluminium, NALCO?
National Aluminium, again, a very small stock, but yeah, I think this is a stock which is now showing signs of a big trend reversal on the long-term charts. See, in the last 3 months, again, what has happened is that in the last 3 months, you have seen this stock run up from levels of around 30 to now at about 46. But I would be very positive. Eventually, I'm looking at a target of around 55 to 60 for the stock. So the idea should be that after a run up, and now looks like a very good opportunity for a cooler, try to buy it closer to medium-term support areas. So I would be a buyer here on a mild decline. 43, 42, I think is my preferred range to enter. So if a 3-4 point drop comes in, I would want to buy this one, keep a stop below 38 and look at a target of around 55 to 60.
So you've already mentioned that 14,100
Sorry.
is a crucial level. Somebody's asked that can Nifty go down to 12,400 in the medium term?
You know my worst case scenario when I look at the charts, the earlier highs for the Nifty was around 12,300, and we took out that high with some kind of a gap on the weekly charts. So the worst case scenario, in case the budget comes extremely negative, though the finance minister has said it will be a one-time kind of a budget, that makes me more worried because the markets are high and the expectations are getting higher. But yeah, in case the worst case scenario happens, the worst case which I penciled in is 12,500 to about 12,300 being retested, which was the earlier highs when the market had peaked off before the COVID scene. So that high will be a very strong support. There's a gap there as well. So I don't expect the market to go below that. So the worst case scenario is that if you were to pencil in a big correction, which I'm still sure of, I'm still looking at 13,700 and then 13,400 to begin with. But in case the market turns negative strongly after the budget and there's a big jerk on the downside, then I think the worst case scenario is 12,500 to about 12,300. And if that comes in, I think I want to put in a word by a saying by Mr. Buffett. He says, cash combined with courage in times of adversity is the biggest asset which you can have.
Okay, so somebody's asked me that will you be covering Fibonacci,
No.
especially for forecasting?
No. So the only reason, because in 2 days we can only cover a few setups. So I've stuck to 5 most commonly used setups which I do.
So now on the screen, for the benefit of everybody, I've put how the day 1 and day 2 session wise and time wise would go, just for the benefit of people, so they can see that. And moving on to my questions, somebody asked, what is the view on BEL?
Well, I have to check again. I think I have been tracking the stock, but I don't remember the exact numbers for BEL. Give me a second again. Yeah. Again, extremely positive, the stock. The only worry which I have is the market run-up which has happened, but I think getting past 120 was a very good event for the stock on the long-term chart. So I would be a buyer here. I think very clearly 10-point decline, buy aggressively. And I don't think the stock is possibly going below 105, 110 support zone. So I think that becomes a stop loss. And I think on the upside, this stock, if you were to hold it for about 6-8 months, easily could top 165, 170.
Okay. And another question is that would you be providing training on momentum trading or pullback trading?
Yes. So in gaps, we will cover pullback trading. Momentum trading, yes, because we'll cover breakouts as well. And even when we're doing price patterns, there are breakouts happening from the pattern. So that'll be part of momentum trading. I mean, I've not classified that as momentum trading or pullback trading, but the setups have this kind of inherent, covering of these kind of scenarios.
Whether to buy Future Retail Group, Future Enterprise?
No idea. I'll have to check. I have not worked on Future Group charts because again, they are not F&O stocks, so I've not been tracking them very regularly.
What about PSU company, buy or not?
It depends on company to company. I think, as I said, I was just talking about BEL. I don't know whether it's a PSU company or not. I think it's a partly PSU company. But yeah, I think it all depends on the chart. See, I have no bias against buying into a PSU company. We've had some excellent, stocks like BEML, BEL earlier when the long-term charts, when they turn positive, the returns have been extremely good. And you can add some of the OMCs, oil refineries to that. So there's no bias as such on the nature of the company with the government being the promoter or not. It's the chart which clearly dictates the decision.
So somebody's asked me what is the course fees, which I have entered the answers. Yeah. So now there are a lot of questions and they're all coming from everywhere. So Mitesh, somebody's asked that what is your target of BPCL next month and Hindustan Zinc?
One is that I don't have a monthly target for stocks because I don't know if I have a good method of identifying that. If somebody has, I'll be happy to learn from him. The way I do it is that in case I find something interesting in my setup to trade this stock, I will do that. Currently, if I was to take a view on BPCL, my short-term view is slightly negative. I expect a 360, 355 zone to be tested. And from there, I think the stock might try to give a reversal again. But it's not a monthly target. It's a running target. So I don't give it a month-to-month kind of a target. That's one. And the other stock was, sorry, after BPCL was?
BPCL and Hindustan Zinc.
Oh, Hindustan Zinc I haven't tracked for quite some time again. Sorry for that. I'll have to work it out, sir.
Okay. So one interesting question was that what was your psychology when Nifty was at 7,500 in March 2020?
Okay. The psychology was to buy something, and I had no idea which stock to buy because being a chartist, we don't do fundamental research. Though I'm a finance MBA, so I can work with balance sheets as well. The only thing I thought was buy something which is the best which you can buy in the entire lot, and I recommended HDFC Bank to myself, to my friends, because being one of them. And I said that's the best way to trade. I think put all your money into HDFC Bank. I myself bought a good amount of quantity, which I exited at 940, 950 because of trading nature. I thought I'm getting good risk reward equation. I'd taken a 50-point kind of a risk, and you got a 200-point kind of bounce back in a matter of a few weeks. So that's when I exited.
Will price action be covered in this training?
No. So
Sorry?
price action, I think as a different subject is what I think Sher Khan does in their training programs, but I don't use price action as a subject. But of course, we will cover certain kind of momentum breakout, support level being hit, resistance level being hit. So to a certain extent, we'll cover a part of it, but not focus only on price action per se.
What is the view on Wockhardt?
Okay, so in pharma, Wockhardt is something which I have not tracked, but I am extremely bullish on most of the pharma names, and I think on the long-term charts, stocks like Sun, Lupin, Aurobindo will do very well. Wockhardt, again, if I was to give a preliminary look, the long-term charts are very, very positive, but the problem is the same with all these stocks. The short-term charts are extremely overbought and looking tired. The stock, Wockhardt, ran up from 285 to about 570 in a matter of 2 months. But yeah, on a decline, I would be a buyer here, just like any other pharma stock, And the excellent range to enter the stock would be closer to about 450, 460 zones. I think keep a stop below 420. And the recent high of 550 should not only be revisited, but eventually crossed. So the long-term charts for most of the pharma stocks are very positive. But if I was to rank the pharma stocks, Wockhardt would not be in the top 3.
Okay. Now there are some interesting questions. That what indicators are helpful according to you when you want to trade any stock? Which is it like trading at all-time high? How to ascertain the target for such stock?
There is no logical way of ascertaining targets. The most used or the most commonly approved method is to possibly look at Fibonacci extensions. That's one way of doing it, and look at round numbers. But again, there's no rule, there's no thumb rule which says that these numbers will be followed to the T or something like that. So it's a very tricky thing to figure out what is the exact way of doing it. The idea should be to put in a trend following system which you've used for a number of years. As long as that is not being reversed, pray and hope that the trend continues. So for example, let's say if I was to use a simple 10-21 day crossover on the stock, and as long as the 10-day average is not falling below the 21-day average, try and hold it out. And you've seen many stocks do extremely well on such a setup for the last few years. You've seen this entire rally. For example, let's say if I was to tell you the chart of Bajaj Finance. So just a minute, Bajaj Finance, yeah. Just a minute. Give me a second, sir. Okay. So if you were to use a chart of Bajaj Finance, in the last 5 months, which is since post-COVID, the first crossover took place in June, 3rd of June, when the stock price was around 2,400, and that signal got reversed at about 3,400 in September. Then we got a positive crossover in 2nd of November around 3,420 mark, which got reversed, I think, few days back on the 14th of January when the stock price was 4,800. So in one swing, you would have got, first swing, you would have got about 1,000 points. The second swing would have given you about 1,400 points. The high for the stock was 5,350. We got a reversal 4,800. But then, as I said, I don't still have a method. And if I had one, I would not be talking to you or Vikas for that matter. But yeah, the idea is to put a trend following system, which you think will give you and allow you to capture a good part of the move.
So, guys, I think this is going on and on. There are a lot of stock ideas that people are asking. So what I request is that everybody can mail, if these audience can mail their questions to plbd@plenindia.com. we will pass on the message to Mitesh and get you your answers immediately. But I would like to take a few interesting and a few different questions over here. Mitesh, somebody is asking that would like to know the parameters Mitesh follows to identify quality stocks and how does he do using technical analysis?
So one thing is that my universe of stock is very limited. I trade only in the FNO stocks, and if I was to invest, I would look at companies only which are the part of NSE 200. Once in a while, NSE 500 is something which I'll scan. So you basically go by the exchange categorization. So try to stake yourself, try to put your money only in the top 200 companies. They've done extremely well. Yes, at times you would have missed out on a mid cap, which eventually becomes a large cap and then joins the index later on. But I've seen that whatever I'm working with works very well for me. Since I'm not a fundamental guy, it's very difficult for me to pick a mid cap stock and then identify that it will be a multi-bagger. Rather, I would see a NSE 200 stock and see which stock can give a breakout on the long-term charts and yet give me close to multi-bagger kind of returns.
Mangesh, I'll request you to gather all the questions that what we have not been able to. Okay, this is another interesting question, Mitesh. Did you anticipate the fall of March 2020? Looking at global cues, valuation, PCR, open interest analysis.
Okay, I anticipated the fall, I think sometime in December of 2019, looking at the long-term charts. I don't use much of PCR, to be very honest. I think for me, put call ratio open interest means that one guy sold, one guy is bought. So I think, to me, it's an equal kind of a thing. Though I think PCR technically has given you some good indications at times. But looking at the long-term charts, see, I think, that was time when a lot of long-term charts were tiring out and typically showing signs of a breakdown happening or a big pullback happening on the indicator setup. So for example, when Maruti was around 8,500 to about 8,800, I was wondering when will Maruti come to 5,000, and it went to 9,500 after that. But then eventually it did, decline down. So a lot of long-term charts were showing signs that the breakdown is imminent. Similarly, now if I was to look at the long-term charts, most of the long-term charts have become extremely bullish. So I think that's why, about a few minutes back, recently I said that in the worst case, I don't see or I don't believe that the index on an immediate basis will trade below the pre-corona highs of 12,300, 500 because the long-term charts are very bullish. So all the declines like this, in case we get one, and I'm still not looking at that target, but that's the worst case target which I have in mind. Declines like this one will be bought into, and then eventually newer highs will be made. So I think next 2.5, 3 years, the way the long-term charts are positioned, most of these stocks will hit higher highs.
So guys, there are a lot of questions that, okay, somebody's asking another question. How much weightage do you give to derivative indicators while reading any stock or market?
For me, it's mostly price indicators, the technical indicators. So not much on derivative side. I think, as I said, I believe that if you're looking at open interest ratios, I mean, you can use it as a supportive evidence, but I don't give it much of an importance. In fact, even on the technical side, I don't give much of importance to volumes because, volume is somebody buying and somebody selling. So it's an equal weight for me. Similarly, is your FNO indicators. And open interest means that one person bought, one person sold. So I don't give much of weightage to it. For me, it's more of price patterns, price breakouts, and the technical indicators which I use.
Mitesh, what we'll do is all the balance stock ideas, we'll gather all those ideas and we will seek your advice and share it with our audience because this could go on for
I believe so.
Another half an hour and that would not be fair on you. So I think that one last question, which could be a multi-dollar question is, will Nifty hold 14,200 now is one person is asking.
Sir, my personal belief is that despite the fact that there have been high expectations on the budget, today if you were to ask me my bias is on the negative side. So I think you might hold 14,200 for a day or two or maybe 3 days, 4 days. Leading into the event, you might not see a breakdown. But I think eventually there's a higher chance of us breaking down first, going down to minimum 13,700, logically to about 13,400 kind of level. So I have a slightly negative view starting from yesterday, a mild bearish kind of setup. But I'm waiting for a 14,150 to be taken out on a closing basis. I think that should happen in the next 1-2 days. And once that happens, I'll be clearly trading on the short side with buying some put options on the index.
So that was about the questions, guys. We are going to hold another few promo sessions before the launch of our course, Trading for Living, in the month of February. And I expect a lot of registrations and support from your guys to learn from the master. As you have seen, there have been so many questions, so many people wanting to get a piece of Mr. Mitesh Thakkar. So if you want to actually be with him and learn for an entire 2 days and improve your trading knowledge and thereby create wealth for yourself, feel free to write to us at plvd@plalindia.com or register with our PL Academy course, and we would be there to help you and help you grow your wealth. So thank you so much, Mitesh, once again for your time. We've been overstretched over here, but such things do happen when somebody like you is there on the panel. So thank you once again, and we will meet until next time. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.